Bugoma, Gongwa, MONBASA, MVITA. I'm going to talk about Pharaoh AKHENATEN. Pharaoh AKHENATEN was the younger son of Pharaoh Amenhotep III and Queen Tiye. Akhenaten was married to Nefertiti. He ruled in around 1353 BC. He was known as Amenhotep IV, but later changed the name to Akhenaten to reflect his belief. This was a time when Egypt or Kemet was full of different gods, religions for different gods. And the religions were a source of livelihood. They were a business. They were a connection to the gods. The priests were very powerful because whichever god you went to, they were the ones who were connecting you with the gods. There was Amun, there was Ra, there was Anubis, and there was Horus, and many other gods. Each god had his temple, and the priests. The priests, as far as they were related to their god, were more superior, more powerful than anybody. They would ask for anything in their temple based on their god. So it was a thing that made them important in the society, made them money. Amenhotep III, who was the father of Akhenaten, had an idea that there could only be one God. So he sold the idea to his son. When his son was a grown-up, he and his wife Nefertiti got engaged in the spreading of the monotheistic religion, worship of only one God. They chose a least worshipped God, the disk of the sun god, the Aten. They declared all the other gods illegal and forced everybody in Egypt to worship that one and one only God. It is thought in the history of the world that Akhenaten was the first man to centralize all worshipping to one God. It is thought that the formation of Judaism religions, that is Abrahamic religions as we have been calling them, were founded by this belief in one God. One God. But to him, it was the disk of the sun, the Aten. And he believed he was the son of Aten. So people would worship him as the son of Aten. Many of the people in the different religions were angry. He deprived them of source of money. He deprived them of source of authority. authority. He deprived them of the prestige they had in society. During his death and when his son took over, people were so angry. They defaced his statue and that of the Queen Nefertiti. They tried to erase them in history, but some traces remained. What are we talking about? We're talking about an imposition of beliefs to people who are not ready to accept them. In religion, you cannot have everyone think your way. People go by faith in what they believe in. This guy went against the grain, this Pharaoh, against the grain, in that he wanted people to think like him, to worship like him, to do everything like him. But he came later to realize that the Egyptians were so much embedded in their different gods. So what am I saying about belief in the modern time? I believe, and the way we've talked in the past, there is one God. But our worship goes through different visitations. What he was trying to ignore were the visitations that the other Egyptians had. And they brought a lot of problems. In fact, when he died, people hurried to try to rub out his memory completely. But the memory did not go out completely, because there are others who came after, and we have that in monotheistic religion, though we are still focused like AKHENATEN did. We are battling each other against our visitations. Let's believe in one Godhead, one force. Him, it was AKHENATEN, the disk, and the light. I told you about sunlight and the sustenance of most of the living things. That one we discussed in the past videos. But we should not also underestimate the spiritual power that comes with the worship in other visitations on the same God, because with him he had chosen amongst one of the many. He didn't know that those may have been visitations, ways of one being to get to the same destiny, the same God. So they tried to erase everything when he passed. It was after some time that people were able to trace the lost king, tomb and whatever things that were, and the defaced places that they had left, trying to erase his name. But he's one of the very first people to lead people to the worshipping of sun god, the Aten. So the Aten became the god of that religion during his reign, the sun god. And nowadays many Christians go to church and wonder, why is it called a sun day? It is because just like the Aten in the Egyptian religion, it was the sun god in the Roman religion when King Augustus embraced Christianity. He could not put it on Saturday because that was the ruling state. And so many still worship on the day that AKHENATEN put, and on the deity that AKHENATEN chose, because That is the worship of the Sunday, the sun, the Aten, and it is the beginning of the monotheistic religion. So when you believe in one God, always remember Akhenaten was the first man, and when you think of worshipping on Sunday, no, it is the day that the Egyptians would have worshipped the Aten, and the Romans worshipped the sun god. My take is that it was very crucial for the understanding of the religions. Like I've talked in the past, you can be able to connect. But this is a great man in monotheistic religion. Let's focus our beliefs in the power of God according to our calling, because all powers generate one thing, one strength, one superior entity, existence, which is God. So, though people defaced Akhenaten's statues, the monotheism existence is attributed to this man. He called himself the Son of God, or Akhenaten, a descendant of the sun. That is what he used to call himself. Son of God, or a descendant of the sun. And he introduced worship in Aten, the sun. So when we talk of Son of God and we talk of God, there are two words that reflect strongly on Akhenaten's policy and decision. Beginning of worshipping one God and believing that his descendants was from that God, the sun God. So he was the son of the sun God. He was the son of the sun God, exactly. Son of Aten, son of God. God was Aten. That is my take for now.